Hi, and welcome to another mystery envelope with Makers with Heart. This month, Jessica sent us our mystery envelopes, and it's funny, she said she didn't really need to send these die cut components that she did, but she just felt weird sending an empty envelope. But her challenge to us was to do something that is used in bride saying of something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. And I hadn't intended to use a wedding photo, but when I grabbed my box of photos, this was one that was literally on top, and I thought it was perfect. So I decided for my something new, I was going to use the Evergreen Digital Art Collection. So I went on my site and ordered my collection and downloaded it. And then here I am uploading it into the Cricut. So first I picked the scrapbook layout, and now I'm going to pick the doily. And when I upload my images into Cricut, I like to say CTMH for close to my heart, and then kind of the collection it came from and what it is. And for me, that just makes it easier to search later on, because often I'll remember, oh, wasn't that in Evergreen, or wasn't that in, Fresh Paint, or any of those. And so I kind of search for that set. So I don't want all of the page, or both pages, I just want the left-hand side. And so I have taken the right-hand page out. I'm going to remove those tags and the elements in it, and I'm going to use the doily there instead, because this is a wedding photo. I just like that doily, and I'm trying to show you also that you can do something different with your layouts. You don't have to do them exactly as they have them, and that way you can kind of make it your own. Now, I did spend more time on the Cricut changing things than you're going to see here, but I wanted to show you specifically how I handle text. So my title is going to be "We Did," because at a wedding you say "I do." And so I'm typing it in here, and then I'm going to change the spacing or the kerning from left to right. So there's an arrow on the screen, and you can just keep pressing that, and it kind of closes the gap. And then I go ahead and manually move those first capital letters, and that's only important because I plan to do a frame around this, or an offset. So again, in Cricut, I'm going to kind of roughly size it, or I thought I was roughly sizing it. It ended up that I wasn't even close. So you'll see here, I bring it onto my page so that I have a better idea of what size I do want this to be. And I know that I'm going to have the offset. So now I'm going into the offset, and you can adjust how big or small that is. And so because I had made the letters closer together, that offset will just be a nice way to hold all of those letters in place. It's not too big. But I'm also adding something sparkly. So something new, something old, something borrowed, something blue, and something shiny. So here I went ahead and cut that backdrop. The colors that worked with my photo just screamed the good days, the good times. I don't remember the name of the paper pack, I apologize, but was still available at the time that I made this video. And so I cut that out of the pattern paper and all those leaves, and it came out really nice. One of the tips that I do is, first of all, I make sure that I have a good sharp blade in my Cricut, but the next thing that I do is I actually set it on a lighter setting than I need, and I'll let it cut twice, so it makes like 2 shallower cuts instead of 1 bold cut. And now that I have all of my embellishments done, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of camouflage any nicks that the Cricut may have put in these papers. I am using holographic paper, as you can see here. And all of the supplies that I'm using, if they're available, will be listed in the description below the video. Also below the video will be all the links and a playlist for all the other Makers with Heart who are going to also be meeting Jessica's challenge. So I have sped this up, and if you want to click through this, I will have put chapters so that you'll see there's a assembling layout is, I think, the next chapter that you would want to click on the bottom there. But I'm just attaching all these pieces using the liquid glue. I really like that when I'm putting together small pieces or paper piecing, it just works well for me. And I will go ahead and ink up the pine cones because those had a lot more tears in them. After I think I cut all that leaf for the background paper and then all of the foil paper, my blade got a little dull, and so by the time I came around to cutting that mocha out, there was a lot of nicks. So I'll just use the mocha ink and cover all those up. It kind of makes the whole page pine cone edge darker, but as the ink dries, that'll lighten up as well to be a true color again. And then I didn't want the contrast so sharp between the mocha and the toffee color, so as you saw, I went ahead and used my blender brush to kind of add a little bit of mocha on that as well. So I don't need all of that doily, so I will add that to my Good Life, that's the name of the paper pack, kit, and it'll be available for another project. And here I'm just trying to look at the layout and how they suggested pieces fall in place, and also look at my images as far as where I want them to go. Now I know I have another pine cone, and you might already see it on the screen, but I'm looking for it. I'm picking up pieces. I'm going to look under my mat, and I don't see it. And I laugh at myself because later I find it's right on top of my mom. So I don't know if you've ever done that, but I've lost something in plain sight. Lorna, when you're watching this, I know you'll be laughing because you'll appreciate my front row blindness, as you call it. So I am very much a visual learner, and so I like to dry fit my stuff, and that's exactly what I'm doing here, is deciding how high and what orientation I want those letters. And then also where the pine cones go, I have an extra leaf more than what they had. I think I missed deleting it when I cut out that right hand side page, but I think that'll work and still leave me room for journaling. My old is this old stamp set journaling jots. I have had this probably for 10 plus years. I absolutely love it. I'm using the old White Daisy pigment ink as well, and that will be where my journaling lines go. Now for borrowed, I really had to think about it, but Jessica, I am borrowing from you stitching on my layout. So I just had that stamp of the heart, and so I used my piercing tool with a foam mat and poked that through around the outside of the heart. I just kind of eyeballed the spacing, but you can do that if you want to mark it out somehow. I just eyeballed it, but I'm going to do stitching on my layout borrowing this technique from Jessica. So my something old is my old journaling jots. My something new is the Cricut digital art from Evergreen. My something borrowed is the stitching that I'm doing here, and I will fast forward through this as well. And then my blue is all the different shades of blue with the harbor and the mist. Some of them are blue, some of them are blue-green, but I'm going to count that as blue. And then my shiny is the holographic paper. And I threw in the shiny, and that was just for my bonus thing. I think all brides should have some bling. So I'm just going to do the finishing touches here of gluing that star back down over the heart. And this is it. I hope you had fun watching it. Be sure to check out all the others videos. The links are below in the video description, as well as any products used. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. Blessings.